Good morning, everyone. Good morning. John Paolo, we know each other now?
Yes, we do. Good morning, Philippe.
So we had a remarkable day yesterday. It was an afternoon, by the way, but very dense. So we're going to continue day 2 today. Reminder, this is design in the age of experience. So John Paolo, what did we learn yesterday? What are your takeaways from this afternoon?
Yeah, yesterday there were a lot of very interesting themes, a lot of to think and ponder about. I captured a couple of moments that I would like to highlight today. So first of all, the many definitions of design. I think there is a consensus that design is at the intersection of art, technology, and science, and they are all equally important for a remarkable design. But the best definition I heard for the first time of design is that design is love. I like that. And this goes directly to my second point. So design is love, and design has to create emotional connections, has to create an experience. And therefore we learned that in order to make it happen, we need to create a platform, and this platform is a design, is made to capture the emotions of the customers, of the people. Basically, the platform is designed to shorten the distance between us, creator of products, and the consumers, the users, our customers, is to create a shorter connection. So it's to create to capture emotions and to design experiences. So these are the things that I learned the most yesterday. What about you?
Thank you. So what we learned yesterday is that design is big. And I think Young-Si Kim said it well. He had a nice layout of this sentence. Basically, it was the day of the Johns yesterday. John Maeda, the physical John.
Petersen, yeah.
And if we look at the takeaway that he conveyed to us, he said, well, design is all about imagination, innovation. That's point 1 of design. He mentioned Einstein. You know, this imagination is more important than knowledge. So this was the takeaway number 1 from John. The number 2 is that design brings humanity, and this goes back to love. This goes back to emotion, the emotional touch of design. I think he conveyed that message very well. And last but not least, John told us as well that design is not about an isolated designer in an office working on his own. It's about a whole social experience.
Social aspect of design.
And I think this is going to also to be a theme today, socializing design, thanks to the platform that you well illustrated. Then the second moment yesterday was to go to the, to the journey of the virtual John. You remember?
Yep.
So we conveyed you the reason to believe that the platform is there and our brands are there to help you reinvent design and doing big design. So we took you through the compass, I think, yesterday during the experience that we played together. And I look at the Twitter, what happened on the hashtag, and I noticed one of them, which I want to read you. Amazing event with some remarkable people changing the world we live in. So this was about the roundtable we had yesterday, and I profoundly believe that the people who were present yesterday are representing the change in the mindset of some companies who are daring to reinvent design. And this, by the way, we want to continue that today with you, and this is, I would say, the introduction of the second roundtable we're going to have. And I think, again, you will meet remarkable people daring.
Okay. So please let me welcome on stage our speakers today, our guests. So we start with Bill Zahner of Zahner.
Bill
CEO of
Zahner.
Zahner Architects. Genta Kondo of XC. Tim Houter of Delft University. Yves-Marie Pondaven of Parkeon. And my friend Mike Buchli of Carl Schmitt. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we sit in the middle, Gian Paolo.
Yep.
So, we start the roundtable with the roundtable, and everyone on stage. I think you should shortly present who you are, who is your company, and what's your passion. So let's start this way with Bill, maybe. Thank you for joining.
Good morning. I'm Bill Zahner, the CEO of the Zahner company. We're a engineering, manufacturing, and fabrication company out of Kansas City. We enjoy working with 3D Experience.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for coming from so far.
Okay, good morning. My name is Genta Kondo. I'm CEO of XC Inc. based in Tokyo, Japan, and I've been building this bionic hand for people who lost their hand, which is open source and 3D printable. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. We start with you, Mike.
My name is Mike Buchli. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I work for Carl Schmidt & Associates, Vice President. We build recycling systems that are in 35 countries around the world.
Hello, so I'm Yves-Marie Pondaven, CTO of Parkeon and Marketing Director of Parkeon. And I like innovation, and that's why I'm working for Parkeon. We are the worldwide leader in the parking meters area. And in our past, we've done a lot of product from electrical meters or gas meters or all these things. So we are able to do a lot of new products all the time.
And Tim.
Right, welcome. I'm Tim from the Delft Hyperloop team. And we are competing in the Hyperloop competition. And the Hyperloop is sort of a train running in a very low pressure tube. And because there is such low pressure in that tube, there is almost no air resistance. It makes it possible to travel way more efficient, way faster, but also way more cost effective.
I had a small video going on for you, Tim. Okay, we'll discuss about that later. Obviously, the theme today also is going to be connected to the city experience. We have some people who are here contributing a lot to our daily life in the city. Park meters, you mentioned that, Yves-Marie. Recycling with Mike. Transportation with Tim. And finally, amazing buildings with you, Bill. So we are going to touch on the city topic very closely. As yesterday, we wanted to organize this roundtable into 3 themes. The first theme being going from product thinking to experience thinking, allowing holistic innovation. That's going to be the first theme. The second one is going to be about the human, the emotion, the lifestyle, and the society, how we can transform that with big design. And the third one, last one, is going to be how to socialize design. So I think we're going to start, and I'm sure we're going to start, with experience thinking. And I would like to give the mic to Tim. Maybe Tim, explain again what you're doing, what are the challenges you met, and how you transform, like was mentioned yesterday by Arthur Léopold Légy, the transportation experience.
Thank you for this introduction. Well, with the Hyperloop, it really revolutionizes the way of mobility. It will be possible to travel, for example, from Amsterdam to Paris in just half an hour, or from Milan till Amsterdam, which is around 1,000 kilometers, in just 1 hour. And that's like a very short time. And if you compare it with an airplane, for example, an airplane is also quite fast. But before you're actually in the air, you will spend a lot of time at the airport. Your boarding time, taxiing through the runway. And with a Hyperloop, you save a lot of time on that trajectory. So actually you could say it is as fast as a plane, but as convenient as a train. And to boost this technology, Elon Musk organized the Hyperloop competition. Elon Musk is the CEO of Tesla Motors and SpaceX. And the idea of that is quite simple, that they build a test tube and student teams, but also companies can build a prototype for that test tube and compete to each other to see which Hyperloop concept is the best.
The demo we saw was all 3D experience?
Well, to continue to your question about the experience, I can actually show you our experience. Our main focus is to win the competition and to tackle all the technical challenges that you have to encounter with such a project. But in the end, it will be used by people, so you also have to encounter the people's experience. And
Comfort.
I think I can show you that. If you take a look here, Paolo,
Fantastic.
then you can see.
Sorry,
Voilà, we see it.
it's
you
the
see
same thing
there?
that we see there.
As
Yeah.
you can see now, we're traveling 1140
yeah, turn it
kilometers an
around.
hour.
Yeah.
Show people.
And
It's fully connected. Interesting.
we're now
Wow.
passing Brussels, as you can see. And this is how you would be inside such a Hyperloop vehicle. You will be seated, comparable to how you are in a car. In a car, there's also not so much space above your head till the roof, but you don't notice that. You have very luxurious seats, very open, which really pressures the idea of being in such an enclosed environment.
So, what kind of speed do you think these vehicles can reach? Is that the true number?
It's a true number.
Yeah, the vehicles can go up to speeds of very close to the speed of sound, which is 1,200 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
And the average speed will be around 1,000 kilometers an hour.
Oh, wow. And do you and Elon have an idea on when these things can come to life?
Yeah, those things, it's not a question anymore of if those will come to life, but when they will
Okay.
come to life.
Okay. And it is like the next decade, or
Well, if you
is
you
it in
take a
my
look to it,
lifetime or in your lifetime?
I think it's still in your lifetime, but if you take a look to
Okay.
the technical challenges,
Okay.
I think if you put a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of effort in it, the technical challenges can be tackled in between 5 till 10 years. But politically seen, I think it will take some longer.
And the prototype is going to be when?
The prototype will be finished this June because the competition is already in August in California, and hopefully we win the first place there.
Very interesting.
Thank you, Tim. Very, very impressive. Thank you very much. So, changing the transportation experience, and I'm sure you took care about our comfort inside this Hyperloop vehicle. Speaking about changing the experience, the society, I'd like to give Kondo-san the word and to explain us how you transform life of many people with your business.
Okay, sure. So once again, I'm making this bionic hand. It's for people who lost their hand. But the most important keyword is personal. So this technology is actually not brand new. It has been developed by one German company a half centuries ago. But it was to imitate human hand and kind of compensate their missing hand. But we think a totally different way. We want this to be like really personal item and also fashionable item. So we design it differently for each person. If you see the movie, it was this guy's request to have this two-tone color. This guy lost his right hand by an accident 3 years ago at a factory. But having this kind of fashionable hand, he can be like a part of society again. And like a lot of people passing by is like asking him to shake hand, which would not naturally happen to ordinary people. So that's kind of our design philosophy we have as an experience.
How do you act with how does it work?
So even though this guy lost his right hand, he still have muscle inside his residual arm. So we put a sensor on top of that muscle, and whenever he contracts his muscle, the hand actually moves. Yeah. This is the comparison between like natural hand and the hand which you could have after you lost your hand.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much.
Can I just introduce another picture?
Sure.
So
It's yours.
one episode I want to introduce is this lady. She is also amputee, and she works as a singer. Apparently from this picture, she can hold a microphone by her natural left hand, but her agony was that she cannot make gestures like waving hand at her live performance. So what we did last year was to provide her with one of our prototype and made her dream come true. It was for her first time to have gestures in her live performance. So yeah, it's her like really good experience, I think.
So we're touching here the emotion, and we're touching our daily life, and that's, I think, the second theme we want to address.
Yes,
Paolo?
yeah, so we started talking, touching the concept of transportation that is going to change our lives. And let's keep the theme of transportation. I would like to involve Yves-Marie and his projects, and how, my questions for you is how your innovations and your design can influence the social behavior of people, especially in large town. I live in Boston. Parking is a nightmare. Milan here is probably the same thing. Actually, it is. We have seen it. We see walking here. No parking space everywhere. So, how do you think design and innovation can change human habits and basically make living in cities more sustainable?
Yes. First, parking meters are not so popular, but we have a nice story about that, because at Mexico City they had a big issue with the ability for the drivers to park, and they asked to the citizen, district per district, if they want parking meters or not. Some districts said yes, some districts said no. And in the district saying yes, the life in the city started again, because if you can park, it means you can have some meetings, you can date, you can shop, you can do a lot of things. So a few months later, the district without parking meters asked to have some parking meters, and we received some emails directly from some citizens asking, can we buy some parking meters to set some in front of our buildings. So it was very fun, and it's a good demonstration of the impact we can have with some parking meters. Because if you can park, you can do a lot of things. If you can't do anything. So we have a real impact on street. And what we've done, it's a tool with Exadid to aggregate a lot of information, because we have more than 200,000 parking meters on street. So we have a lot of information with the parking tickets, maintenance information, and we have no pollution sensors, things like that. So we can aggregate a lot of information to display, and with Exadid we are able to display a lot of information to the cities in order to optimize how the city is working. So it's a very big step for us and for our customers. It's to use the information we already have to optimize that and to use this knowledge. And the next step will be to help the cities to really optimize with some automates. So it means, for example, we are able to optimize enforcement. That's not the funnier part, but we have to do it. And a funnier part is our application Pass to Park, with the ability to find a parking spot for the drivers. So you can download the mobile app for doing that. So when you have the information, you can display, and you can also use the information to do something. That's very important for us to have a big impact. You have to help the cities and the drivers to do something with the information.
So we are in the era of big data. So you're saying that you are working on an app to tell drivers where parking is available?
Yes, and we are using the big data technologies to use all our parking tickets and with a machine learning system to learn how our cities are working. And with that, we have the ability to deploy the app even if we have not any parking meter. So that's a disruptive application, because the application is deployed in France, and a lot of other countries will come. So anywhere in France, we can help you to find a parking spot.
Okay, so I heard of self-parking cars, right? Do you think you can connect your application to the self-parking cars so that I can just get out of the car parks itself, and I can go do my business? Do you think it's possible?
It's possible. It's too soon, I think, but yes, but at the end, when you want to use a connected car, the automated car will let you at your home, but then what the car can do, if the car don't know where to park, you have an issue. So at the end of the process, we have our part, we have something to do to help the car to find enough street parking or
fantastic,
something like that.
That's a dream of mine coming true. So again, is it going to happen in my lifetime, self-parking cars? What do you think?
We hope. In Paris, we are estimated we are saving 5 minutes per user per day.
Per day? That's a lot. 5 minutes?
You'll need to move to Paris, Gian Paolo.
I will definitely. I already spend a lot of time in Paris. This will, tell me to spend even more time. Okay. Thank you, Marie. This is very remarkable. Mike, so I read a lot about a new concept. We were talking about this during breakfast this morning. It's the concept of circular economy. So recycling is really capturing the imagination of people. And everywhere, it's happening everywhere, the concept of recycling, which is very remarkable because it tells that the conscience of individuals are embracing this idea of a limited amount of resources that we have to deal with in a very thoughtful way. So you are exactly in the middle of this transformation, of this thinking, because you create the equipment that help people recycle their things. So you work for a company, for a small, medium company, I would say, correct? But you are very, very competitive. So what is the role of innovation in your daily job? How important it is in your business to innovate and create always forward-thinking solutions to help cities and people better manage their resources?
Yeah, to start with, to put things in perspective, there was a comment made yesterday about in 15 years there's going to be another 1.5 billion people on the planet. And you look at something as simple as this water bottle here. In the US, we make 50 billion bottles a year. And out of 50 billion bottles right now with 325 million people, we actually recycle only about 23% of those. And the question is why? That's always the big question. Why don't we recycle more? Why don't we send less to the landfill? And there's two main factors that run into that. One of the factors is obviously cost, and the other factor is how long it takes to make it. We put more people on the planet than we can recycle right now at any given time. So if you look at a system like what was just on the screen, that's roughly about $11 million system and takes 2 years to build. Obviously, if you're a small community, you can't put in an $11 million system and wait 2 years for garbage to show up and be hauled. So what we do at Carl Schmitt is we use the 3D Experience platform and we use SolidWorks to innovate new ways to make low-cost recycling solutions. The picture that you see up here is an idea that a person in Colorado had that we're engineering and developing to be a low-cost solution in like a $200,000 price range. And by doing that, we use the 3D Experience platform to actually work back and forth and solve the solution in real time. On a global scale, we also use that to communicate with people overseas. We bring in a lot of technology from Europe, some of the high-end sorting equipment, and being able to have them connected to the 3D Experience platform and communicate with us virtually at any time of the day is pretty invaluable for us to stay on track and meet our deadlines.
This is very interesting. So each of these recycling plants are designed in collaboration with municipalities all over the world, right? So each is a one-of-a-kind type of project. But you were explaining to me that you have a modular approach to your design, so you basically have a lot of cells that you can assemble, discussing with the municipalities. Tell us a little bit about this process.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, we brought in the SolidWorks platform, and through that we went from 2D AutoCAD to SolidWorks, and part of that allowed us to make everything modular. Then we took the next step with 3D Experience platform, where we actually take individual modules and put them together like Legos, and then we use the platform to build all of the pieces that are missing to make a custom recycling plant. What that does is that allows us to go into an existing building that's 100, 200 years old where nothing is square, map everything out, lay in all the custom pieces, but still keep the cost low because we're building the exact same components every time.
Okay, very interesting. So you mentioned that you put a lot of focus on trying to lower the cost of these plants to make them affordable to more and more municipalities. I wonder if in the discussions with your clients, do you also consider the cost of not recycling? Because it's easy to, compute the total cost of one of your plants. 11 millions, maybe too much for small municipalities. But what is it, the cost of not doing it along the line? What is the cost for the future generations? Do you have this type of conversation with your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. We have several different conversations like that. A good example is we send a lot of equipment to South America. South America has traditionally taken a lot of the garbage from around the world. They take it, they put it in their landfills there. What everyone is now realizing is there isn't any landfill space left. And so when you run out of landfill space, then you have to find new alternatives for every possible thing that you can recycle or cannot recycle. If we recycle it as we go, then the stuff that we put in the landfill goes a lot slower.
Okay.
So it extends our time to find new alternatives to recycle more.
Okay. So this concept of circular economy is to put the concept of recycling directly into the design of products, so that you can plan for the dismantling and reusing parts of these products. And I think it's a very interesting concept. Do you think it's going to happen, Mike?
Yeah, I think it'll happen. I don't think we really have a choice. If we're all going to continue to live on the planet, we have to recycle.
I think so. Okay. Thank you very much.
So we discussed about changing the transportation experience, changing our lives, our experience inside the city. We touched a little bit about the emotional contact with the human being. Can we do that on our own as an isolated designer? This is the next theme, which is about social design. And to introduce this, I'm going to give the floor to Bill Zahner, explaining us, well, the specificity of the construction industry, which is particular and that you address in a particular way.
Well, as you know, the construction industry is so diverse. There's a lot of stakeholders, the engineer, the architect, the client, and various subcontractors. And what we found is the language of construction can be benefited by having a platform that we all work under. What we use is CATIA to model the buildings, the surfaces that we're working on. And we are able to convey this to our clients. We may be in Kansas City, our client might be in New York, the architect or designer might be in California or London. And we're able to work on a single platform and describe and develop the building design rather rapidly and very accurately. And then this drives our fabrication. So not only do we communicate with our clients and the designer, we can also communicate through to our people that are actually building the pieces and building the works. This image on the picture now is the Petersen Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. Had several hundred panels that were all constructed, laid out and created off of a CATIA. But the model was conveyed for the architect in New York and the client in California. So we were able to work off a single platform and communicate across really diverse languages in a sense, and produce an amazing piece of architecture.
Mm-hmm. How big is Zahner? This is
We're about 210 people. We're 120 years old. We started back in 1897.
And you are the origin of what you're showing here.
Correct. This is a project in Mexico City. Again, the client was in Mexico City, the Liverpool department group. The architect was in Mexico City, we're in Kansas City, and we're having to convey this information to our people down in Mexico, how they were going to put it together, how they were going to construct this rather elaborate building in the city of Mexico. And it went incredibly smoothly because it was conveyed on a language of digital design. And the three-dimensional platform enables you to cross barriers that are not easily crossed in the past.
Bill, I have a question for you, if you may. This type of building seems to me a very, very complex structure. Look at those shells there. Seems like aerospace technology, you know. What kind of precision do you need for this type of constructions?
Well, on dual curves, the tolerance comes down to 0. This is the Experience Music project by Frank Gehry. It was all designed on CATIA, and we fabricated these parts, and the accuracy is incredibly, the panels come together very, with near 0 tolerance issues. So, but we're able to see it all. In this building in particular, I didn't trust the computer. I said on Saturday, clear out the floor, put all these panels together to make sure they fit before we ship them out to Seattle, and they fit.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, so now we don't fit them up anymore.
Oh, really?
Okay. It really, it gives us the ability to get incredible accuracy at an affordable price in our mind. They may look complex, but by developing systems and approaches using CATIA, we're able to keep our costs down, make the delivery quicker, communicate what we're giving to our clients, and produce some amazing pieces of architecture.
Truly, truly. Do you think the future of construction is prefabricated elements? So things that can be shipped and assembled like you do for cars and
Modular.
airplanes?
Yeah.
Modular, yeah.
I think so. I think it has a huge part. I mean, the modular aspect allows you to assemble them in a factory setting to get the accuracy you're after, to incorporate, and the great part with 3D experience, it allows you to incorporate other things into the panels. We're investigating now incorporating sprinkler systems into the panel, HVAC systems into the panels, even electrical into the panels. So it's done in a factory, kind of a plug and play in a sense. And the only way you can do that is by modeling that entire piece.
With high precision.
And I've heard also that in your industry, the construction industry, the owners of the building are now connecting to the platform to see, live what's going on, where the project is. I think that's becoming a reality and changing the construction industry.
Well, absolutely. When the owners are able to see what you're doing and how you're producing it and how it's coming together, it just makes it a much more collaborative effect. There's none of this, keeping it hidden. It's all open. And that gives us, one, as a fabricator and an installer of such work, the ability to create a relationship with the clients and do repeat work. They understand what we're saying better.
Very good. So speaking about socializing design and social experience, I want to have the word of Tim. Tim, because communicating is also giving an image to the competition. And you have been in a challenge. I think, how many participants in the challenge?
Well, the challenge started with 360 teams that want to compete in the same competition. And after the first round of the competition, 127 teams passed to present their design in Texas. There we have presented our design as well, and there we ended up with the second place after the MIT team, which we were very, very proud of. And now we are with a team of more than 30 students, covered from all faculties of the TU Delft. So every aspect of technical expertise is in our team, and that made it also possible to design our Hyperloop prototype in less than half a year together with CATIA software. We are working on the cloud, on the 3D experience platform, which makes it possible for us to collaborate together in the same assembly, any place, anywhere, anytime, and it makes it very, very efficient, just as our Hyperloop. So that's a great combination. And if you want to know more about our story and about our team, we also have a breakout session at 9:30. So I would love to invite everyone here in this room to really come and hear our story on the breakout session. And currently we are producing our Hyperloop vehicle. We are manufacturing it. And that's all because the competition is already in August, so we are working on it very, very fast. And the competition is in August, and every single person in the team is now very motivated and dedicated to stress itself to the utmost to really win this competition, and that brings a great working atmosphere. And everyone do their best part, all for winning this competition in August.
So it's a real beautiful example of a multidisciplinary approach, which allows people from various horizons, so people from the electrical department, electrical students, to connect together on the same platform. Tell us a little bit how the daily work is happening.
Yeah, so we have three different departments. That's the structural department, the powertrain department, and also the suspension department. And everybody works together. We have also the electronics workbench on the 3D experience platform, plus the structural workbench. So we can really design our whole design for every single butt, every nut, every layup of the camera fire. All the electronics can be designed in a very detailed way.
So you mentioned that the other winner of the competition was an MIT team.
Yes.
So I did some research, and they did use SolidWorks to design their version of the Hyperloop. So we can say that the fingerprints of Dassault Systèmes for the Hyperloop are everywhere, right?
Yes.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Thank
Very
you.
interesting stuff.
Thank you.
Well, so design means also to transform design innovation in business. And I'd like to conclude with Genta, explaining us what's the business model you are trying to set up, a new business model to transform, the ideas. I think you're a 3-man company, 4-man company, how you want to revolutionize the prosthesis business.
All right, well, the reason is not only the business, but what we are doing is to put all the data of this bionic hand online as open source. So basically, you can download the data for free and just print it away. And one episode just came out this morning, was from Poland. Engineer in Poland just made a child-sized version of this hand. We only had like adult-sized version, but a guy in Poland provided to 6-year-old kid for smaller size of this hand. And this kind of things couldn't happen if we only did all by ourselves. We only have 3 members located in Tokyo, but since we put it on internet, like everywhere in around the world, like there's people joining our community and start developing, start testing, and start deploying. So based on this ecosystem, I think lots of business model can be synced at least. So like conventionally, it was one way. Producer have this final product and sell it, and consumer just have to wait until the final product came out. But now they can like share risk and share cost together, and there's many transactions happening on. So it's not only the payment to the final product, but you can like make a business model just for service and things like that. So it's kind of abstract concept still, but we think the ecosystem, the whole network is really important to start business too, which I can discuss at a breakout session as well later. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for this takeaway again. Design is big. Design is about a holistic experience. The city experience is a perfect example. Design is about emotion. And design is about communication, share. I think yesterday we touched this, to share with the customers, like Mike, like you do, Bill, and to share with your co-workers. So it's really co-design that takes the lead at the end. Thank you very much for this roundtable. Thanks to all the participants. A round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.